Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life.
Today I want to talk about AI. For design, this is kind of a scary topic. A lot of people are very nervous about AI, but I really believe that you should be using it as a tool in your business, not as something to be feared. So you remember in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, how Charlie's dad loses his job. He used to put on the toothpaste tops. That was his job in the factory. And he lost his job and he was looking for a job and couldn't find anything. Well, by the time you get to the end of the movie, you hear the voiceover say that Charlie's dad got a better job as the person who fixes the machine that took over his job that was putting those little tubes on top of those toothpastes. He was the one fixing the machine. Guys, this is the way we have to think about AI. Over the years, over the centuries, over the decades, people's jobs have changed. They've had to pivot to figure out what they have to do in order to keep up with the way that jobs get replaced. As designers, I do not believe that our jobs are going to get replaced. I do think that our jobs are going to have to pivot, though, and we're going to have to make smarter decisions. I don't think designers who are one note, that means people especially who just want to be a fabric designer or people who just want to be a crafting designer, are going to have the luxury of being able to do that. I think you're going to have to be a little bit broader and have the ability to pivot a lot of different ways. And as we watch the changes that AI brings, those people who pivot are going to be fine. What's going to be left behind is designers who have been messing around a lot, hobbyists, people who are unable or stuck in a specific way of doing business, and not those that are thinking outside the box and moving and changing to make their businesses work. And so at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is business strategy, something that we never teach designers. We just teach designers in school how to design well, which is a very important piece of this entire AI thing, because still we are going to need designers who can design well. That's it. We are going to need that. And we need designers who have the vocabulary of designers so they explain how things are designed and why they should be designed a certain way. There's still a human element missing in a lot of AI. Let me give you an example of this. So I've been using ChatGPT to do write-ups for different things. I'll go to it to ask questions like, what's a great name for a design program? And I'll put it in and kind of figure out some of the things they suggest, right? Or maybe write me an email about this. So far, there has never been a time where I have been able to take what was written in ChatGPT and use it word for word. Now, I know it's early days, but I just haven't. In fact, if anything, it's been a great starting ground. I'm still using it. I pull it over into my Google Doc and I end up rewriting maybe not every word, but a good portion of it to fit what I want to do. But it's so much better than starting with a blank sheet of paper. That's the way it will probably be for design. There are lots and lots of different softwares. And in fact, within our program of Design Suite, we just did an AI conference for our designers. Because here's the thing, the people who are not checking it out are getting in their own way, okay? And we want to make sure our designers are doing what needs to be done so that they're faster and better and smarter and they can speak the language of a designer. Because I think this is going to be a skill that is necessary for designers of the future, because they have to bring the human element, right? To explain why a design is built the way it is and how it's going to help the person who purchases the design, right? So an example of this is you can output a logo from any of this new AI software, right? You can say, I want this, 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 and this. And then it will output one for you. And then you can say, I want some changes to it, and it will output another one to you. And then it'll do more changes. It'll output more for you. And maybe there are 20 logos when you're done. And you're like, I still like this from number 2. I like this from number 6. And I like this from number 20. Okay. So you have all these things you want, but you still don't have the exact right logo. Just like ChatGPT doesn't output the exact right copy for me. Okay. It's the exact same thing in the design world. So what is that person going to do? Because they don't have any design skills. They don't know the software. They have to go to a designer and say, I like this, this, and this. Will you combine them to create a design for me for my logo? So what's going to happen is good designers, the really good ones who understand design, they're going to be top level, high level, taking that information. And then furthermore, they're going to be able to come to the client and say, listen, I know you like this, this, and this. I put it all together. Look at this. Here are some revisions I made based on that I think would be better for your brand. I changed this color. I moved this line. I added this to it. I think this is going to work better. So a good designer is going to take what a client comes with, right? And that's why it's going to be easier for us. Those of us who are being smart, who understand the vocabulary of a designer, know how to explain and do things correctly for a client, it's going to be easier for us, you guys, because suddenly we can take their stuff. Before we used to just guess what they might like. Now they're going to come to us with things and we can combine it and make it better for them. But only the designers who are thinking smart about this are going to do it this way. Okay. So this is my little hint into you guys as you are thinking about AI, being afraid of it. First of all, stop being afraid of it. Start getting smart about it, okay? And start using it in your business in a way that's going to make sense. There are lots of rules and unrules right now around AI, so don't get caught up in that. Find out everything you need to know to kind of get started with it. And those of you who are in Design Suite, you should be watching the AI conference that we just went through to talk to you about the new software, how to use it, how to get smart with it. We're going to be continuing that series along, talking to you about it in our virtual conferences and other places because we think it's the next new wave that's going to help us get to the next place. Those of you who have been very settled on the idea that you want to be one thing, like a surface pattern designer, I would say to start thinking a little broader. I think it's going to help you. And this is just sage advice from someone who 15 years ago had a digital scrapbooking company and ended up as a creative director of a scrapbooking company, who ended up in a couple of different fabric companies, ended up in, digital scrapbooking all the way to SVG files and printables and then clip art. This world for designers is ever changing. And as someone who has weathered it and has been around for a long time, the ones who stay are the ones who know how to pivot and use business strategies to move. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be able to move seamlessly with the process that's coming out at us with all this different software and all these things that are happening. You are going to have to move seamlessly through this world. And it might seem scary, but it really shouldn't be. Instead, you have to embrace it and find ways to deal with it. All right? That's a little pep talk about AI for me. If you are on the YouTube channel, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. We're always talking about what's up and coming. And if you are on the podcast, please leave me a review. I just appreciate you so much for doing that. It really helps the podcast, lets other listeners learn more about what we're up to. And I thank you so much for helping me out that way. Guys, everybody have a great day. I hope that you are making sure and not being afraid of AI because it can be used as a great tool for us.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.